Hey guys, welcome to day five? Day five? Yep, I think this is day 5. Is this day 5? This gotta be day 5, right? Oh my gosh, I can't be forgetting the numbers after only 5 days. Yep, okay, day 5. Welcome to day 5. Here are some color comps. Look at these beautiful little sketches. I usually don't spend a lot of time making the sketches accurately proportioned as long as I can test out some colors ahead of time. I'm impatient, so I try to spend as little time as possible on this step, as you can see. But I wanted to show it to you just because it's a fun step. So we're doing a simple portrait today, and the reason I wanted to do this month was because I wanted to experiment more with experimental colors and also mixing watercolors and gouache, so having both of them present in the same piece. And I originally wasn't sure if I was going to do this one in watercolor or gouache. I wanted to do one or the other, so I put it to a vote in my Instagram story, and the votes were split pretty evenly, so I decided to just go ahead and do both. And I also wanted to work with a different brand of watercolors. I think that the last day or two I've been using my Magello Mission Gold watercolors, and before that I had been using Daniel Smith watercolors. And today these are the Shinhan brand. And I know it sounds like I have a lot of watercolors, and the truth is that I do. I have way too many watercolors. I'm the kind of person where, like, when I want to get into a hobby, I buy way too much stuff thinking that it'll make me better at the hobby instead of just actually practicing at the thing. So I bought a lot of watercolors when I first started getting into it, and then slowly have built things up over time. Like, I didn't get Daniel Smith right away or anything like that. Those are a bit more expensive, but it's a problem, and I really didn't need that much. And don't follow my example. Just, learn 1 or 2. And I know it's fun to buy new things, but it's better to, spend time learning. Like, I haven't used my Shinhan watercolors in a couple months until today. I've been using other stuff. I guess it's good to find your favorite. Oh, look, yes, I like this song. Thumbs up. Anyway, yeah, it's good to experiment with different brands, but you don't have to go crazy. Don't go crazy like I did, guys. Save your money or something. I have to give that advice. Yeah, so the Shinhan watercolors. I have to say, I was not sure if I was going to like how this piece was going, just because I felt like there was a lot of weird streaky texture. I loved it, but I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to relate that to the finished piece here. But ultimately, I loved this piece. It's one of my favorite things I've done ever in my life, and definitely my favorite of this month so far in videos and things. So I, of course, did the watercolors first, and one of the most important reasons for doing the watercolor first is that it doesn't really reactivate if you get it wet again, not like the gouache will. So if I had done the gouache first, and then especially the more watery watercolor, if it had touched the gouache portions of the painting, it would have just reactivated them, and it would have been a big mess. And I learned that the hard way from having done gouache first before. So I knew I wanted to start with the watercolors and then do the gouache next. And this piece, as soon as I sketched it out, I had an idea of how I wanted the colors to look. So I did my color comps, but I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted. Color comps are still always a good idea, because even if you think you know what you want, practicing it out a couple times, at least 3 times, with little versions like I did, will help you to get some of the littler details, like exactly where certain colors are going to go. It helps with that stuff. Yeah, so I did that. I went in, I kind of skipped through it really quickly. I did some colored pencil a little bit in between the watercolor and the gouache phases to add a little bit of contrast and like her eyelashes and things like that, because I've been shying away from black lines lately. I've been feeling like black is too stark a color for lines, and I wanted something softer, but when I was done with the gouache, I felt like the piece needed more contrast, and it wasn't really I don't know, it wasn't quite there. So I did end up going in and adding black lines, and I'm so glad that I did. I really, really like the way this piece turned out with the black lines. So gouache is a funny thing because even with this brand of watercolors, I feel like there wasn't as much shifting of the colors from when the watercolors are wet to when they're dry. But with gouache, there's a lot of shifting. So the gouache looks a lot lighter. The dark colors look a lot lighter when they're wet, and then they get darker when they dry, and light colors get lighter, generally speaking. But there's a lot of shifting of the colors. So when you first lay a color down, that's not always how it's going to look in the final product. So there's always a little bit of the unknown with gouache in that respect, because you never know exactly what shade of thing you're going to get. But yeah, I knew I wanted like more geometric shapes for these flowers, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to match the purplish color in the flowers to the purplish color on her skin, but it worked out. I was originally intending for the purple on her skin to be like a shadow, like a large cast shadow. And ultimately, I think because the value is so light, it doesn't really look exactly like a shadow, but I still really like the way it looks. I know I could have added more contrast, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think there's a lot of contrast between the two eyes and both sides of the face, and it works. This part with the brush pen was hands down what made this piece work really well, in my opinion. Someone had asked a couple of days ago, thank you so much for asking, by the way, if I had issues with my brush pens gunking up because of gouache. And I was actually really worried about that a few days ago with the dog that I painted, because I was worried that the gouache would reactivate with the moisture from the brush pen and would cause the brush pen to get all gunked up with paint, and then it would be ruined, and that would be really sad. But I haven't had any issues. Of course, you want to wait until your gouache is completely dry, or any medium you're putting this over. Wait until it's completely dry and then apply, and try not to go over the same spots over and over again, just because that can, you know, you're increasing your risk of that gunking up. But I haven't had any issues yet. This is the Pentel Aquash Black brush pen ink thing. It has a squeezy cartridge. That's a very professional description of the product for you. There you go. And this one actually comes to a little bit of a finer point than the Pentel Pocket brush pen, which I really like. And let's see, what would be the benefit of getting the Pentel Pocket brush pen over this? I don't know. Maybe the Pentel Pocket brush pen, I think, has a little bit less variety in line width, which may be good if you're just getting started with a brush pen. So, like, you know, I know when you're first getting started with brush pens, that can be, like, one of the hardest things is working with the varying line width if you're not used to doing that. And I'm not a pro at it or anything, but that's why I do pieces like this, because I want to practice and I want to get better and I want to learn more. So yeah. Anyway, the last thing I did on this piece were the white highlights. And I don't know, it was a good day. It was a fun day. It went really well, and I'm so excited to hear what you guys think of this piece. I know it's just a simple portrait, and in my brain I feel like I can't do these because I go, oh no, all I do are portraits, I can't do another portrait. But it brings me so much joy, like just drawing faces. And if it makes me happy, and if I still have things to learn about doing it, then I will keep doing it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing some fan art tomorrow, which is exciting. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.